For coming today. Today we're talking about three things: corruption, corruption, and corruption. We believe in this town that there's corruption going on from the leadership and a change needs to be made. We believe that jobs should be given to people based on what they know, not who they know. We believe that a town can provide cost-effective, efficient services in a timely manner. We believe our taxes are too high. We believe there should be government for the people and by the people, not the other way around. And we believe that people with passion can change the world. Now, ethics reform affects every town resident. When contracts are handed out to the same people, whether they're relatives or friends, and there's no oversight, this is when the money starts leaking out. We need transparency in our budgeting process and in our contract process, similar to the way that we used to do it on the school board and still do it on the school board. One of our proposals is an independent Inspector General who will oversee all of the contracts in the town. Now, it's a shame that we have to do this, but this is what this administration has forced us into.
That's a lie.
Excuse me, if you're not going to be respectful of me, like I've been respectful for you, I'm going to ask you to leave. Is that clear? I don't interrupt your town meetings. I don't expect you to interrupt me.
So once you tell them the truth, that's fine.
I am telling, I am here.
Lie after lie.
I am here.
You got to corrupt politicians in this, and you're running on the same ticket. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am not ashamed.
You should be ashamed.
Okay.
Turning around
Anyway.
and sweeping
You got
out
a no-show
corruption.
Okay.
job to taste food.
And
What a
fixing
piece of
our
bullshit
town.
your company is.
Okay.
Unveil picked Joe Saladino to replace
Okay,
That's
all
a
right.
lie.
Shh.
That's an absolute
Okay.
lie. But that's nothing
No
new
lie.
Now,
from you.
this is not about Republicans or Democrats or independents.
Except that this is entirely political.
This is about
Corruption.
corruption and ethics reform. Now, the current appointed administration talks about what they're doing, and really all it is smoke and mirrors. There's still nepotism. They're the environmental, now they've become environmentals and environmental people who are interested in promoting environmental concerns. The shame of it is,
The number one environmental
the shame of it is,
Republican in the state
the
assembly.
shame of it is, when you
But
were
you're
in
not
the
willing
assembly,
to
you had
look
the
at
chance,
you're not willing
you
to look
had
at
the
the truth,
chance,
'cause it
you
doesn't
had
suit
the
your
chance,
campaign.
you had the chance to affect real change when you were an assemblyman, and
And
you
we did
did
that.
not. No, you didn't.
We
Right now, the one
did
for, if we had cleaned up the Bethpage plume when you were an assembly person, we could have cleaned it up
And my
on
bill
Hempstead
was held by the
Turnpike.
Democrats,
On
people of
Hempstead Turnpike.
Your party.
Right, no, my party
Your
is the
party.
Democrats, Republicans,
And
and
I've worked with the
Independents.
governor to get a bill passed
Now,
to do
and-
just that.
Yeah, and that's
These are
all you
lies
do
and
is
subterfuge.
Okay.
Pass the bill that is now
okay,
law.
okay, and the bill does nothing.
That's not true. It's
The-
where we are. It's
The
led to where we are
nepotism,
today.
which is a monstrous, you have people. Okay, you have people
If
living.
you really wanted to
you
tell
have
the truth,
people
it would be a
living-
very
in court
different,
soon for
very
corruption.
different
For
story.
corruption.
Okay,
That's not
you have
true.
people
It is.
living in
It is.
Bethpage where the dichloroethane is 1,000 parts per billion.
Not in the drinking
One-
water, in the groundwater. And we
but
pulled
not in-
hydraulic containment
okay.
throughout the entire process while
Okay.
you did nothing.
Right, well, I did nothing. I've been a civic leader and been been a proponent
You
of this
haven't
for
mentioned
years.
the Grumman Navy plume. You're only beginning to do this now as a candidate,
Right.
while I have been the
Right.
leading voice.
You
in
have
the
not.
state
You have
fighting
not been
for
a
the
leading
public.
voice. You have
It's
not
the
been
truth.
near a lead. The only bill
I
that
have
you
been the
passed
leading
had
voice.
to do
Oh, you only have
with
to ask
the
your
bass.
colleagues.
With a
That's an out-and-out lie.
okay. The only bill
But
you ever
no surprise
passed
coming
was
from
making.
someone who has jacked up property taxes
Okay.
as a member of the Syosset School Board over and over
That
again.
is incorrect.
That's the
Absolutely
facts.
incorrect. We were always under the cap when the cap was
You
in
have
place.
always voted to increase taxes as a member of the Syosset
And
School District.
Why
the
haven't you
taxes-
been reappointed? Because of
66%
corruption.
of people's property taxes
And
are
the
from
taxes,
school taxes.
the
13%
taxes
come from
in
town
the
taxes.
Syosset School Board is voted on by the residents, not like the town
And the Syosset
taxes.
School District has
And the
among the very
town
highest
taxes,
school taxes in the United States
And they-
under the leadership of this man.
and they
What is the town
Shouldn't
Wait,
you
graduate.
be in
hey.
town hall doing your job right
you
now
getting- are you
instead of campaigning right now and interrupting
Campaigning,
this?
that's what you're doing.
That's right.
Yeah, but
and
we're
I'm
not
on
getting
my
paid for it.
private
We
time
can be,
out
and
there.
so am I.
So no,
So
you're
we
not.
can
You're a
talk
public
about
servant,
this.
and you're not here doing your
We
job.
can talk about
you're
this
out here
all day.
being rude
I'm
and
here to make
disrespectful,
sure
Joe.
the
I'm ashamed
facts.
of you
I'm
that my
afraid-
You're
unelected
here to take
supervisor
over
is
a
saying-
corrupt
How would
organization
you
that
come
you're
out
a
here and
part of.
interrupt us?
Feedback that
I would
you've
never do that to
perpetrated.
you. Never do that
The
to you in a
lies
million years.
that have been
I'm ashamed of you.
perpetrated,
You
and-
came up and shook my hand, and you're disrespecting me.
I'm
I
not
can't. You're not a man of your
You're a
word.
piece of shit.
Uh,
You're part of an organization that is a piece
Anyway.
This represents what my opponents are all about.
Anyway.
Throwing lies, being disrespectful.
Anyway, let me
Truth
tell
must
you,
come out.
ethics, and corruption are important in this
Saladino,
town.
You're disgraceful.
I have my master's in ethics. I teach ethics at Northwell Health. I am on the ethics committee at North Shore University Hospital and Long Island Jewish
Then why have you lied
Hospital.
to your patients, telling them that you're
I-
staying in practice,
in my-
and then other people
I will
hear
tell
another
you,
word?
I will tell you, ethics and corruption have everything to do with this gentleman to my left. Now, corruption isn't
I
just
don't think he's
taking
that way. You're being very
ethics-
disrespectful to Mr.
ethics-
Wysocki.
it's Versace. Ethics,
That's very
ethics,
disrespectful to him and to the public.
ethics isn't just taking out money under the table, and isn't
That's a
just ethics isn't just taking money under the table and giving out corrupt contracts. Ethics has to do with selling your soul for votes, has to do with denying that you've signed off on things when you actually have, on promising things that you can't deliver, putting out mailings with no purpose, lying to the public,
Mailings have made clear the changes
and
we're making,
putting up
sweeping ethics
political
reform in the town of Oyster
signs
Bay.
when it's not even legal to do that yet. So we
Sweeping
need
ethics
a
reform in the town of
clean
Oyster Bay, as well as
broom
a place
to clean
watch
out.
our proceedings
We need a
online
clean broom
on the town's
to
website.
clean out this administration, and I'm happy to be part of that process, along with my fellow people that are running, to bring new eyes, clean hands to the town of Oyster Bay. So with that, I will turn that over to Bob Fryer,
We just need your name and spelling and title.
Marc Herman, Herman. I will be the next supervisor in the town of Oyster Bay.
M-E-R-K or M-E-R-C?
MERC.
M-E-R-C.
Bob? Dr. Mark.
Units in one house?
That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's not a
It's
surprise.
advertised as a 3-unit.
All right, you ready? Everyone's ready?
And it's an honor to be here with this group and my running mates. Simply put, you know, you've heard the appointed, unelected supervisor speaking. Really accomplished nothing in 14 years as an assemblyman,
That's a
other
lie.
than naming the striped bass,
That's a lie
official
and
New York State
subterfuge. We
fish
have been the loudest
under
voice
oh,
in
that's a
protecting the
big
people
word
of
for you, Joe.
Bethpage,
Big word
and
for you.
Clearly, no one here cares about Bethpage. To make
Simply
it a
put,
political
simply
issue
put,
instead of
the
truly
government
caring.
and the town of Oyster, the government that runs the town of Oyster Bay, is purely a cesspool in need of immediate reform. Our town needs structural changes, not just photo ops. We need a supervisor who's going to be in his office running the town, not one that's just running around getting photo ops and having a deputy really run the town.
That's also a
Some
lie.
of the
When someone doesn't have a resume
some of the
to speak
town
about,
that
they
some of the
constantly throw
ethics
stones
reforms
about others
that
when they
that
don't
the
have the resume
that the unelected
themselves.
supervisor talks about sweeping ethics reforms. Well, you haven't seen sweeping ethics reforms until you elect us. One of the
Put
things
in
we're going to
an
address
ethics
is
board. We have ethics standards
an ethics
at
board
the
that you
highest in the
appointed,
country.
that
Of
you and your
every
colleague
different
appointed.
It's a
elected-
rubber
It's a
stamp.
rubber
on
stamp
everything
That's
you
coming
do.
from an attorney
That's
that
a
is
total
also
insult to
a
those people.
runs a Republican club and
Every
sends
single one of those
Okay.
people were vetted, and that's an
Oh,
insult
yes.
to them. They're
Yeah.
on every
Vetted
political
in
party.
5-minute interviews.
That's outrageous, and that's a lie.
5-minute interviews.
We brought in sweeping reforms, and you
We're going to
said
talk
it's a
about
stunt,
our
meaning
anti-nepotism
you don't
rules
want
that we're going to.
sweeping ethics reforms.
No elected,
Very sad.
when we get elected, no elected town official, any elected town official, any commissioner, any assistant commissioner, anything, may have any direct or indirect family members were employed by the town. We're talking spouses, children, grandchildren, employed by the town in any capacity, appointed or otherwise. We're going to bar pay-for-play positions, which we know exist
Start with
to this
the
very
Democrat Board of Elections
very
that's filled with
time
relatives.
now. No
That's where you
elected
need to
town
start,
official,
because you've made
no,
a mockery
and
of
I'm
the
saying
system.
0 town elected officials will accept campaign contributions from any town employee or any appointee. The other thing that we're going to say
Because
is
he's
no
self-funding from his dental practice. What a joke.
no political advertising at all. The mailer that we had a press conference about, we know, was just pure political advertising. It was no, this is a guy that wanted to also perform his own band.
For free. He's cost the taxpayers $2,000.
For free, right. Okay.
Robert Fryer has cost
Right.
the taxpayers $2,000 with his political
For
stunts.
free. You still have advertising. You still have sound. You still
Nothing
have
has
light.
changed.
You still have town employees
No,
working there.
that's entirely
Pathetic.
subterfuge
You've
and
got
lies.
this guy who just wants to promote himself.
Wanted
So
to
there'll
bring
be no
free
political
music,
advertising.
And now the taxpayers
We don't
are
need
paying
our- we don't need our
$2,000 more because of Bob Fryer's
Right.
reckless actions.
Okay. Okay. So no, we're not going to take. We don't need our names on signs. We don't have egos that need to be stroked like this current administration. We're going to take our names off signs in parks. You're going to have a Town of Oyster Bay sign there, and then maybe a number for public safety if you need to
So you're
reach
going to go out
anyone.
and buy new signs.
No, we're going to take
and
them down.
And then how are people going to know where
We
the
didn't need-
parks are? This is a
Okay.
very poorly thought out process.
Yes,
We have
yes,
cost
yes.
the town zero
Go ahead,
to
you got
replace
it,
signs
you got
that
it.
are sitting on a shelf. And he would like to waste the taxpayers'
All town
dollars.
mailers that
It's
go
so
out into the
typical
town
to their political
will have a
rhetoric.
purpose and not be sent within 90 days of any election whatsoever. All
They don't remove
mailings,
their signs.
all
The
mailings will be
Democrats just
vetted.
litter the communities. I go out and clean up their mess each and every
All
year.
mailings will be
Clean
vetted
up
by
our
an
signs
independent
and
board
their signs.
to ensure that all signs are not political. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my running mate, James Versace.
Just name, spelling,
to
and title.
continue. Robert Fryer,
Who is a liar.
F-R-E-I-E-R.
Habitual liar.
Everyone, my name is James Versace. I'm a resident of Seacliff, and I'm pleased to be here today to discuss something that's very important to me. I spent most of my career as a prosecutor at the New York State Attorney General's office, where one of my jobs is to help ferret out corruption from contractors who are stealing taxpayer dollars or stealing wages from workers. So some of the things that I've learned over my career are things that we're going to implement here in this town when we're elected. Because the purpose of reform is to make sure that you have systemic-wide change and not just discussions about transparency or ethics. So some of the things that we're going to be promoting and making sure get implemented are that we are disclosing all lobbyists who anybody may engage in the town. And these are just some basic standards that must be engaged in any town operation or any municipal government. One of the other things we're going to do is, one of the biggest problems in this town is that we don't have proper vetting of contractors. In New York City, one of the things the state and the city have been able to do, working with the controller's offices, is to enact pre-qualification of contractors, making sure that you're disclosing their connections, making sure that you understand that they have paid all their taxes, making sure that they have workers' compensation, and therefore making sure that you get the best quality at the most efficient work price. So these are things that we can do and will do when we're elected. And quite frankly, over 8.5 years, I had the ability to personally engage in these practices. I know how to do them, and I look forward to implementing them here in the town. The other thing that we need to do in this town is we need to make sure that information is out there for the public. And our campaign is committed to making sure that every bit of financial information is out there for the public. You know, the public needs to know that there was an 11.5% tax increase in this town last year. It's called the Venditto Corruption Tax, and it should be repealed. That's what it should be.
Because it's crash the finances of this town. It's very simple.
Because we can't bear any longer having these tax increases because of the mismanagement of the town.
What we're going to do is what we're
going to do is make sure that we put every single annual financial statement on the website. We're going to make sure that our annual financial statements are put out on time. You know, the Controller's Office for New York State can't even right now rate this town because the information isn't available. We're going to make sure that that's done, and that's something that I would commit to the people to do.
The online budgeting process from S&P.
The online budgeting process.
And they don't like that.
The budgeting process needs to be online. The other thing that we need to do is make sure that we get our bond rating back on track. This town currently runs nearly 30% of its budget towards debt service. That's astronomical and unacceptable. And you need systemic reforms to show that the bond rating companies that we are serious so that we can get market rate bonds. Some of our last bonds were at 6%, people, and that means that every homeowner in this town pays more than they should. So by making sure we have a system that's in place that is ethical and that is transparent, we're going to increase our bond rating, help reduce taxes, reduce the debt burden so we can fix our roads, so we can hire good people and make sure that the process is done in the most transparent and ethical way. And I thank you very much.
Sir, can you spell your last name, please?
I'm sorry, it's James Versacki. V as in Victor, E-R, S as in Sam, O-C-K-I.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add one quick thing. Let's remember, no one elected Mr. Saladino, but when he was
following the state constitution and the
signed
town
in,
rules
when he
of
was
how to replace someone.
when he was appointed, he took an oath to uphold the laws of the town of Oyster Bay, and yet this gentleman took New York Rising funds. Never where people, hundreds and hundreds of people still haven't. Hundreds of people still haven't even been able to get into their homes yet because they don't have permits. Yet those people, and Senator Brooks is trying to help those people get back into their homes again because they haven't been able to. But Mr. Saladino, after Sandy, used town workers to clean his house.
You don't
That
know
is the truth.
Because
he still doesn't have his permits. And he's living there.
This is a lie.
Not only
no
that,
town employee
not
ever
only
came
that,
on my property.
he has illegal rental.
This man is outrageously lying, and that's a lie.
Right. Okay.
So
Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Marc.
To get elected.
To Dr. Herman.
All right, so I want to thank you all for coming.
Once and for all.
First, I want to thank you all.
Like a playground.
I want to thank you all for coming. I apologize for the behavior of the interim supervisor. I will tell you this, though. If you just listen to him, you can see that he's not a likable person. And this is what the town is all about. So you have clear choices in this election. A not likable person who doesn't play by the rules, who interrupts other people, or people that play by the rules and are happy to do it. So again, I thank you for coming, and I apologize for his behavior.